Oh jeez. I'm gonna sit there watching me eat a minute. Anyway, I think it was 2 weeks ago in my last video I said to you all about the feed passages in the corrals. I was having problems with the with these bits here, because under here it's concrete. I think I was having big problems with them filling up with slurry really quickly, and we've got 18 corrals here, not enough time in the day, blah blah blah. So what we've done is now, or I've decided to try and do, is that because our heifers were getting really dirty like that, like her. She's a prime example there. See that muck on the bottom of her? Yeah, don't like that. So what we've done is, instead of having lads here trying to rush and put them under pressure to get all them passageways cleaned overnight, because it's not good for them, it's not good for the heifers. I'll only end up with a heifer with a broken leg or something. So what I've decided to do is we're going to scrape them all every other day, but we're going to put cement, all this stuff on the floor, sand, mixed with dried, yeah. I'm going to pull it in off the yard here, and I'm going to fill the concrete right up to the barrier with it, so it's all, they're on an absorbent material. Also, I wonder whether this might help with our tracheitis as well, because that comes, you know, moisture and things like that are never any good for viruses or bad bacteria. So I'm going to try that as well, see if that happens. We've actually only got one tracheitis at the minute, which is good. So that doesn't seem to be hitting us hard, very hard, which is, fingers crossed, how I want it to stay. What is really kicking my ass though is pink eye, and there's really nothing I can do about it apart from treating it. I spoke to the vets and I spoke to other guys on other farms, and we're all in the same boat. There is literally nothing we can do about the pink eye. We're treating it. Well, we got 200 heifers that we're treating at the minute, and it's just, oh, it's crazy. It's, you know, unless I put them all in a building with walls on it, the wind is just, like even now actually you can hear it, it's howling. And when I was up in Calf House earlier on explaining about that thing, it was howling. So, you know, I really can't do anything about the pink eye, but I'm hoping that this will sort out my mucky issue, and may even give us a bit of a helping hand with the old tracheitis jobby, easing a flip. So yeah, so I just thought I'd give you an update on what I was doing there. I'm just going to treat a couple of these pens again with coccidiosis for the coccidiosis, because the heat isn't quite there yet. It's not quite killing it off. I was talking to the vet yesterday, and he said that on the other farms they've gone to it's really weird. On the other farms they don't get it in pens, they get it in individual animals, and individual animals die, whereas I get it not very, as we've seen in the other videos, we get it here, where it's not that severe, but every animal gets it. Like over the course of a year, I'll probably only have 10 deaths from it, whereas on other farms they'd have more than that, but they would get individual cases, where I get non-severe blanket cases of it. So, but anyway, like I say, I'm going to give some more coccidiosis in a minute. Yeah, that's all that's going on at the minute. I'm going to try and get down to a dry unit and catch a cow calving on camera for you and try and explain all of that. Anyway, we'll see you in a bit.
Algorithm, das ist auch die
yeah, if I've edited this right, you would have just seen a calf being born. Now, it wasn't me that was filming it. I gave it to my guy that looks after dry cows, Richard, because I wasn't able to be in dry unit this afternoon, but I wanted to get a thing of a cow calving. So yeah, so she calved, and she's on the floor. If you noticed, the first thing the calver did was he put her into a sitting position. We don't just pull calves out here and let them lie on the floor. They get put into a sitting position. It's just to open their airways up, get them sat up right, and you can really see it. Like, you can see when they just breathe, they can fully contract and retract. It's just, it frees them up so much. So we do that. We find it works well for us. Then once they've done that, they put the date that the cow calved on its back. So if you'd have seen it, you'd have seen I think it was Norman that calved it. He put a number 8 on her rump, on her arse end there. So that chalk mark stays there for about 10 days. So when she comes from here, when she's in the fresh houses, even the health men can see when that cow was calved without having to ring anybody or call anybody. So that's the cow done. So basically, once the calf's on the floor, within 15 minutes, a tractor like this one here, that comes and picks her up. I was going to show you it all happening, but it's 6 o'clock and everything's gone quiet, and I didn't get back here in time. The tractor is at the minute just off around somewhere picking calves up, but basically the tractor drives into the pen. He reverses right up to where the calf was born. The calf is put into this link box here. We tag it there straight away, we record it, and we also put iodine on the navel there straight away. Within the first 15 minutes that happens. Then from there, that tractor then comes from the pen, it brings it back to one of these pens that we have. Now we have 4 pens, 2 pens are day shift pens and 2 pens are night shift pens. There's a reason for that, and I'll come back to that in a second. When the tractor gets back here with his calves, all the calves are taken out of the box and we weigh them straight away. They're all weighed on these weigh scales here, and the weight is then recorded here. So again, we write the calf number. This is for bull calves, but it's the same thing. We still do it with the bull calves. This is heifer calves. We record the number, the day they were born, the time they were born. That's very important to us, and the weight of the calf, and who the operator was that calved that cow. So we record the operator there, and we also record it somewhere else. The ear tag number and the cow number are all recorded in a separate book, but we record the operator here so we know exactly who it was. Now, the reason we've got 4 pens, AM, PM, is to do with our colostrum. So, a newborn calf will get 3 litres of colostrum within the first hour of it being born here. Okay, so within the first hour, it'll get colostrum, mother's first milk. Most of us know what colostrum is. You know, it's very important that the calf gets that to help its immune system. First milk is full of all the antibodies, everything that it needs to kind of kickstart the calf. But then the reason why we write the time down is so that exactly 6 hours later, 5 to 6 hours later, we can then give the calf another 3 litres of colostrum. So basically in the first 12 hours they have 3 litres of colostrum. So yes, going back to why we have the 4 pens. It's quite complicated to explain. I was thinking about it while I was driving here, how I was going to explain it. Colostrum, 12 hours. Okay, so hour after birth, colostrum. 6 hours after birth, colostrum. Right, then 6 hours later, they then get transferred from here to calf house. Alright, so they only actually spend 12 hours in these pens, just getting themselves up and going, standing, getting ready. So 12 hours in these pens. So it basically works out that day shift only have to look after 2 pens of calves, and night shift 2 pens. So day shift look after night shift pens, and night shift look after day shift pens. I think I've explained that right. There should only be 2 pens full at any one time. Anyway, I hope I've explained that right. I hope you understand what I mean, because it's a difficult one to explain. So yeah, so after the 12 hours after birth, they're taken from here and then they're transferred to calf house, where their navels are dipped again just before they go into that area. And then, because we transfer at 4 o'clock and 4 o'clock, our main milk calves are fed at 6 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So our newborn milk calves are fed at 6 o'clock up there, or new line is fed then. So on the next 6 hour, they then start their usual routine of what will be their feeding. Alright, so if you look at these calves in here, the red ones are bull calves, or the ones with the red ear tags in are bull calves, and the ones with yellow tags in are heifer calves. We also write the date on the calf's era when it was born. So that was obviously the 8th of the 5th. So the 8th. So today, today's the 8th, isn't it? So we got a dinky one over there in the corner. Look. Titch. Hey? Thank you. Yeah, so they come into these little pens, stay here for 12 hours. We do what we need to do to them. The health man from calf house comes down. He comes down at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he comes down at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he checks the calves. Checks the calves that are in the pens. You know, they'll only see them once, but they check them before they go up, just to make sure that there's no issues before they go there. Everything is signed in between each department. So if a heifer goes up there and somebody comes to me 10 hours after that heifer was taken up there and says, "Oh Chris, this one's got a broken leg, it was calving," I can say, well, it didn't have a broken leg when it arrived in calf house, because you looked at it, you signed a piece of paper to say that they were all okay, so it got a broken leg whilst it was in calf house. That's an example. That doesn't generally happen, but that's the reason why we transfer things by signature from one department to the other. Right, yeah, so that's that. So that's basically the journey of the calf, from when it comes out the back of the mother to when it gets there, or before it's transferred to calf house. I'll just take you around to the colostrum stores, and we'll have a we'll have a look at colostrum stores, because I can guarantee you, within reason, that they're nothing like you would get at home. So yeah, right. Right, we're just outside our what we call medic's parlour. So this is where all of our, well, any sick animals come, but also it's the place that all our fresh cows come. So we push all our fresh cows, so once they're calved, they're pushed out. They're again pushed out every 6 hours. So they come out at 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So, you know, we separate them from the dry cows at every 4 o'clock and every 10 o'clock. Because we want to be milking them within the first 3 hours of calving. So we separate them, they come across here to our medic's parlour, and then we harvest the colostrum from them. Okay, so as you can see at the minute, these guys in here are milking fresh cows. Right, man? How's it going? So yeah, so these cows here are ones that were brought over at 4 o'clock. So they're just being milked now, they're just harvesting their first lot of colostrum off them. Give individual cow colostrum to individual calves. It's impossible. We can carve up to 110 animals here a day. It's impossible. So we do pool it. And what happens is we milk it. It comes into these barrels here. You can't see it, there's nothing in there at the minute. We pull the colostrum into them, and then it gets bottled then, and they get put into this fridge here. So this is our big fridge. In here, they get put into here. This fridge runs at about 5 degrees, so these are the bottles. They're put in here. I don't think there's any fresh. No, there's no fresh in here at the minute. They'll put the fresh in. They'll put the fresh into here in a minute once they've milked it and decanted it. So it goes in there for 6 hours to bring the temperature down, because of course it's going to be at body temperature. And then we bring them into here. Then this is our freezer. This freezer. Maybe shut the door before I let all the cold out. This freezer runs at minus 15, and I think there's about 1,700 bottles of colostrum in here at the minute. All our bottles of colostrum. It has the time that it was harvested, and it has the date that it was harvested. 4th of the 5th on it, so we know exactly what we've got. Anything that gets older than about 4 weeks, we sling, but we never get there. We end up using it all. Here's some fresh colostrum that was put in here earlier on the 8th of the 6th. So there's some fresh stuff that's been cooled and is going to be frozen. So, and then it's the same when we take it out. We kind of have to guess how much we need, and it's flipping cold in here. I'm getting out. We kind of have to guess how much we need. Yeah, there's 1,763 bottles in there at the minute. We also record how many bottles we put in and how many bottles we take out. So we kind of guess how much colostrum we need for the next 6 hours. We then pull it out of the freezer, put it back into the fridge so that it just takes the edge off of the thaw. And then it comes into these baths here. We have water baths. Again, we put the time there when it was put into the water bath. So that lot was put in at 4 o'clock, and this lot was put in at 6 o'clock, and we're thawing at 37.5 degrees. These will only stay in here for 6 hours as well. If we don't use them within 6 hours, we sling it. Simple as that. So yeah, so that's basically, you know, that's the colostrum. They're the rooms. Like I'm saying, they're big old rooms. They're big old rooms. The health boys, for some reason, like to keep their vaccines in here. I don't really like it, but do you know what? I'm not really going to argue. So, yeah. So yeah, so they're big rooms. They do what they got to do. We handle a lot of colostrum. Yeah, I'd say one. So, anyway, all the antibiotic milk gets pumped through, and it's put into this tank here, and then we feed that then to the bull calves. That's where that goes. So, yeah, and that's it. I think that's basically from calving cow to feeding colostrum and everything like that. So, yeah. Anyway, right, I think I'll leave it at that, because I'm sure this video is long enough now. Yeah. Right, we'll see you all. Yeah, I'll see you next week. I'll do something next week. I've got a short week next week, because I'm going to take a few days off again. But I'm going to, I will do something at the beginning of the week, and then you can, and I've got a video ready for next weekend. Anyway, it's enough. We'll speak to you all later. Ta-da.